we are going to be ranking every single Dragon Ball Sparking Zero character, the day one tier list. We will be ranking how good we feel like they're going to be. Keep in mind, this is my day one predictions. I could be wildly wrong, but this is just what I predict based on what I've seen. So first up, we have UI Goku. If people have not seen any gameplay of him, he is very insane. All Gokus are meh. I actually don't agree with that. Yes, he has an auto dodge, so that alone is like kind of nuts. But more importantly, he costs 10 points to put him on your team. So even though he costs 10 points, the fact that he has auto dodge and his attack speed is insanely high, I'm going to put him in the highest tier Sparking. All Kabbas and Vegeta are in Sparking. I believe this is Dragon Ball Z Goku, like base. And this is, wait, no, I'm not, wait, actually, I think this is Super Goku, and I think this is Dragon Ball Z Goku. We're just gonna assume that this is Super Goku. He costs 5 character points, and he can transform into his other forms. So I'm gonna say he's amazing, just because of the fact that he can transform into his other forms while being 5. Chaozu, I don't think Chaozu has anything going for him. He costs low points, but other than that, I would say he's fodder. I don't think that's the thing I have to really argue. Unless I'm proven wrong by the 7 Chaozu mains, please let me know. Same with Kaioken Goku. I feel like all Gokus, because he can transform into them and Goku's not a bad character, I think it's safe to say that we can just put all of the transformations of Goku in the amazing tier. Well, now that I think about it, his base form is probably going to be in the good tier alongside his Kaioken form. And this is not ranked in order, so it's not like Super Saiyan 3 is worse than 2. Like, they're all just amazing. If I sat here to rank 186 characters, me and you both would die of old age. All the base Gokus in the good tier, because they cost 5, like, looking at the character objectively, him in base is probably a decent character, but you pick him so that he can transform into these. Same thing with Vegeta, in my opinion, and probably Kid Goku. I have a feeling that these characters are going to be really good just off the fact that the base character, I believe, only costs 5 points, especially after playing him like in the arc. I feel like these are all solid picks. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku, again, very good. Ultra Instinct Sign, he also gets the auto dodging, and I also believe he's going to be in Sparking. Bro, the auto dodging, if you have auto dodging, I think you are already an insane character. Yes, you're only dodging the basic attacks, but if you think about it, right, certain characters are good because of the fact that they have high speed and high speed attacks. UI Goku, Dispo, they all attack pretty quickly. So if you're just auto dodging their basic attack strings, that's just gonna screw their whole game plan up. You eliminate a whole archetype of character. At least that's my early predictions. This is a day one tier list. Obviously, I haven't played all 186 characters, but this is my predictions. This is Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Okay. I honestly think he might be an S tier character. I just haven't seen enough of him yet, but I'm gonna put him near the top of amazing. It's not ordered, but it's kind of loosely ordered. So you could kind of imagine like people who are above, they might be a little bit better than the people who are below, but they're all pretty much relative, because again, these are a bunch of Gokus we're talking about, and we have a bunch of people to go through. Like Cabba, we're gonna rank Cabba in good. I dug all the way down in the files to reach Cabba just to rank him early. Goku blazing at his finest? No, it's not. It's not. Cabba is not Sparking. His super form, I could see the other argument for amazing, but Cabba is not Sparking. So same thing with all these Gokus. Again, you're only picking them so that you can transform into his other forms. I don't think this version of Vegeta can transform. Yeah, I don't believe he can. Oh, the big characters. So the big characters are kind of interesting because of the fact that like they fundamentally fight differently. Some moves don't work on them, like my rush combos with like Meteor Smash won't work on the big characters just because they can't get grabbed. So because of that fact alone, I would honestly say the big characters are probably going to be like near the top of good. Again, it's not like precisely ranked, but like vaguely. Same thing with the Vegetas, right? You're picking the base form so he can transform, and I would predict that all their supers, especially Majin, oh my gosh, I love Majin, will be very, very good. This is base Vegeta, so again, you're pretty much only going to pick him to transform. Same thing with Super Saiyan God Vegeta. Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, again, I believe these characters cost 9 or 8 points. It's one of them. But if you choose their base and transform up into them, you can bypass that restriction, so that is pretty good. Although you will have to get that transformation off in the game, unless the opponent just put their controller down and allowed you to charge up like Goku probably would if he was playing against you to see you at your full power. I don't think you're gonna get that off. Super Saiyan 4 forms, I believe they both cost 9, just like these guys. But because you can't transform into them, it kind of sucks, because unlike Blue, I don't think you can transform into these guys. They are their standalone characters. I do not believe Gohan can transform, so he's gonna go in all right. But again, if they're a base character that can transform, I would probably say they're gonna be good already. I never really cared for Gohan's whole Super Saiyaman thing he had going on. Yeah, Saiyaman or whatever. Just because of that, I'm putting him in alright tier. It's my tier list. If you're gonna cope, please write a very nasty comment. Ultimate Gohan. Ultimate Gohan, definitely an amazing tier. Future Gohan has one arm. I don't know if that affects how he plays, but again, he's a base form, so he's going in good. If you can transform, you're probably gonna go in good. Oh, Piccolo and Nail fusion. I would assume that they would be a decent character just because of the fact that they are a fusion, so they probably have either more health bars or their attacks are a little faster or stronger compared to if they're separated. Krillin has nothing going for him. No, Krillin. Probably going to be alright just because he can't transform. Same with Yamcha, he's just there for fodder. We all know he uses Wolfang Fist once and dies to a Cyberman. This is canonically and will always happen. Future Trunks. One of the best characters in the whole show, in my opinion. Gonna go in the amazing tier. Same with base Trunks, he's going to go in good because he has the power to transform. And then Super Trunks, right. Same thing with Dragon Ball Super. Now, he will go in the alright tier. The good tier. Because like I mentioned, he has the power to transform. This is getting a little hard to rank. If you can transform, you're probably going to go in the good tier. Goten, same as his friend Trunks, right? Super Goten. Vegito. Now, I believe because Vegito is a fusion, already he starts off in the amazing tier. And I would argue that Super Saiyan Blue Vegito is probably a sparking character. This is probably going to be a character you're going to want to pay attention to because of the fact that he's a fusion transforming. I saw his attack speed in some of the gameplay showcases, and bro was attacking dumb fast. That's why he costs, I believe he costs 10 meter. I mean, like 10 points to put on your team, if not 10, 9. Either way though, I know he's a very strong character from what I've seen. Why does Chaozu look like he's doing the... Well, actually, same with Super Vegito. Now, the reason why I'm ranking Vegito higher, even though he's in base form, again, because he's a fusion. If he was like any of these characters who were their single forms, I would put him in good, but because he's a fusion, I have a feeling he's already going to start off strong, and the fact that he can transform would just put him higher up in amazing. So probably somewhere around here. Same thing with Super Gogeta, and then Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. Another sparking character. We just have to factor in that you have to fuse, and once you fuse and transform, like these characters are nuts for a reason. They have insane attack speed. Their supers do a lot of damage. I've seen that they have decent amounts of health as well, and like these characters like overall are going to be a really good bang for your buck if you bring both Vegeta and Goku on your team so that you can transform into them. I feel like both of these are going to be really solid choices. Same thing for Gogeta over here for Super Saiyan, and same thing with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I actually would make the same argument here, again because of the fact that it's two characters using to become like the Super Saiyan 4 fusion. And I've also seen like gameplay of him where he did seem like he was doing a lot of damage with each of his combinations, which is kind of a running theme between these sparking characters. Like you either have a really good passive ability, like being able to dodge combinations, or the fact that you're a fusion and the greater access to power that you get, your usually fast attack speed or higher damage output is what's going to land you within the sparking tier. I promise I'm not just making it up and just putting characters in that I like. That's the general thought process for this, which is also why these two guys are like going in the same tier. They are a fusion, and I would low-key argue that Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks might be a sparking character. This is a hot take, but I would say he's a sparking character. So like pretty much an S tier character. I say that again because you're taking two people who cost, I believe, 5, if not 4 points to fuse them together and transform on top of that. I did see he was also very fast in his attacking speed, which is why I'm putting him in sparking. If you have very high attack speed, you're probably going to go in sparking. I don't think Videl can transform. She's probably going in the alright tier. Same thing with Masaroshi. He actually cannot fly. I haven't seen much gameplay for him, but flying is very integral. I don't see how he's going to contest people when they're in the air above him. And I think he's probably going to go in the meh. Next up, all the forms of Frieza. Same argument here. But until he gets to his perfect form, I actually would not think that these characters are going to be that much better compared to his perfect form. Because of the fact that, like, his perfect form is just that much better compared to these. Frieza and all of his forms are in the good tier. Because I don't think you're going to want to spend that much time trying to transform. You get one transformation and you don't have to cycle through all of these to get to here. He cannot transform. I think this is Dragon Ball Super Frieza, which he can transform into Golden Frieza, so he immediately goes into the good tier. I actually wouldn't say this form of him is that good. I've actually seen a lot of Perfect Cell. He actually seems like a very good character. I've seen a lot of his gameplay, and I say that because he seems to do pretty good damage and have like pretty good attacking speed, and that seems to be the meta for right now. This guy can't transform. Same thing with Majin Buu. I don't think he can transform into these guys as his own character, so I'll just put them there. Same thing with Super Buu. He's a base, so he's going to be able to transform into all of these guys, and I love Super Buu tanks. I'm a sucker for Buu tanks. I love everything about Buu. And Kid Buu, my favorite character. Call it... Oh, wait, actually, this is not biased. So I saw some Kid Buu footage, and he attacks extremely fast. His base combination is insanely fast. And he moves around a lot when he's attacking. And I would imagine it's kind of hard to aim onto him because of how much he's moving. So for the early game, you could say meta for how people are probably going to be playing and what will work, I'm going to say he's a sparking character. I will stand by that decision. Hercule is in sparking as well because of the fact that, can you imagine? No, he's not in sparking. We love Hercule, but the game does not love him. He costs 1 point for a reason. He's actually pointing the number 1 to show you how much he costs. Now, Yajirobe actually has a sensu bean that can heal you. I believe it's healing him fully. He only has 2 bars of health, but factoring that in, if you're playing a War of Attrition, which is a genuinely viable strat within this game to just pick a lot of characters so you have more health and you can time your opponent out, I would actually say he's good for that one fact that he can use that sensu bean mid-fight. Pan cannot transform to my knowledge. Do we have Oob lovers in the chat? I think he can yes, he can transform into Majub. So he's going to be a good base character. And then Majub, I have seen some gameplay of him. He seems pretty solid. So I would say he's in the amazing tier just because, again, he's a transformation. So you can start off with his base and then work your way up to Majub. Bardock, unfortunately, did not live long enough to become Super Saiyan. Same with Raditz. Same with Cyberman. I would actually argue that the Cyberman is meh tier. He's low tier. Most of the characters who cost 2 are going to be in the meh tier. So now, because he can transform, I would actually put him as being alright, Zarbon, and then his transformation going into the good state. I think I've seen some Zarbon gameplay, and he actually didn't look too bad when he was transformed. The other player could have also sucked, so take that with a grain of salt because I know Zarbon is not strong, but for the sake of this, he didn't look too bad. I believe Ginyu can body change. I believe he can body change and do some weird, funky strats with that. So if you can make a meme strategy and somehow body change and then just win off that, where if you like swap your health, then he's in good tier. If he cannot body change though, he's just gonna go in the alright tier. So you could just swap him around. Raccoon. Okay, so Raccoon, I actually think he's kind of insane. And I actually think he's amazing. So if you don't know, Raccoon costs, I believe, 3 character points, right? So 3 DP. But what's insane about him, he has 4 bars of health at 3 DP, which is kind of nuts because 3 DP is the same as some of these characters, and they don't have nearly as much health as Raccoon. He actually has 4 full bars of health, and he only costs 3. So if you wanted to do a timeout strategy or just put characters on your team, like Raccoon is very cost efficient. I actually think he's a pretty good character for that one reason. His health that he gets for being a 3-bar character, it's insanely efficient. It's actually so good. It's actually so good. And I feel like a lot of people will be talking about that. Birder, I'm gonna say he's alright. I haven't really seen too much gameplay of him, so unless he can prove him, like, if I see some and I'm like, oh, he's actually not that bad, then I'll move him. That will kind of be the verdict for some of these characters, because there's not gameplay for every character right now. So Guldo, I believe he costs 2, and I think of the, like, him being the weakest of the Ginyu force, and they're already not that strong, I think I'm gonna put him in the mid tier. King Cooler cannot transform, same with Raccoon, and Dragon Ball Z, same with Super 17. Actually, he might be a little stronger, but because he's an android, he actually can't charge ki, so he's always gonna have 2 bars of ki unless he lands attacks on you, which is kind of problematic if he wants to use his super. Like, he will have to grab you to drain his ki. I don't think Super 17 has this problem, but I know that Z17 does. So because of that, I will leave him there. Z18 and the rest of the androids, the fact that you have to grab them to get your ki charge seems like that will be problematic in the early metagame where, like, a lot of people are attacking and not much blocking is going on. I feel like that's just gonna suck. But as players get better and more people begin to use more defensive options, I feel like the grabs from these guys to charge their ki will become something that is more useful in the future, probably like week 2, week 3 of the game. But for right now, the day 1 tier list, I would definitely say that it's probably not going to help. I do not know about what he does. Bro looks trash. I'm not gonna lie, bro looks trash. Cannot transform. This is a Ginyu Force soldier member. He's there for fodder. He's there if you need to fill your character slots. Now, as for Broly, Z Broly, right? His base form, I would argue it's already scratching into the amazing tier. Not yet, but definitely scratching into the amazing tier. But all of his other transformations, I would say that they are in the amazing tier. It's not glaze. I've seen how his character like plays. I've seen a couple of clips from Z Broly, and the main thing, he just does a lot of damage. His legendary Super Saiyan form is a power type, so he attacks a bit slower, but in exchange he just does a bunch of damage. And I think he costs 9 DP to pick his legendary Super Saiyan state, and this will be 7, and his base will be 5. So to start off with 5 to get to a level 9 character, I would say that's very good bang for your buck. Same thing with Super Broly here, which I'm going to put in amazing as well. And same with his legendary Super Saiyan form. These guys both cost 9. But again, if you could choose a level 5 character, if not 5, they're 6, because I believe they're a little bit better, and go all the way up to a level 9 character, I would say that's pretty insane. Is this Lord Slug? I haven't seen much gameplay of him actually, if at all. So I'm just going to put him here. I don't think he can transform. Same with this robot mech thing. Just because he's a big character and certain moves don't work on him, I'm inclined to believe he's alright as a character. Then again, certain moves of his will just whiff, like with all large people. Oh, this is not Lord Slug. This is Lord Slug. I don't know who this is. I'm going to say that the giant characters are probably alright, except for a certain one. No transformation, so he's alright. I think Lord Slug turns big, I think. And if this is his big form, I mean, I'm inclined to believe he's kind of around the same tier, because again, like, certain moves of theirs just whiff, and that whiffing factor just kind of sucks. Now for Cooler, same argument, because he can transform. His second state, I would argue that his transform version, I've seen some gameplay of him. He seems to do a lot of damage while also attacking decently quick. His supers as well, especially his supernova, and his super can do that, which is pretty convenient, which is why I rank him here. Metacooler, probably alright. Again, can't transform. Android 13, I would rank him good because he can transform, and I've seen some gameplay of his transform state, and it does look like it does a lot of damage. Same thing with Bojack right here. The Durag Bojack, he's going into amazing here when he transforms and takes off the Dewey to see the hard work he's had on his red waves. Oh, Super Janemba. Wait, no, so base Janemba actually seemed to be a little bit better than the other giant characters. He has a grab that just it like puts you in this combo that does a pretty good amount of damage. It's either a grab or a super, but he like punches you a lot through like different rifts or portals, and that seems to do a lot of damage, and from what I've seen, that landed pretty consistently against the players. I don't know if it's a hard attack to avoid, but he seems like, him in particular seems pretty annoying to fight against. Because of that, I'd rank him as good. And Super Janemba, from the gameplay I saw of him, he was extremely strong and low-key overbearing, so because of that, he's gonna go in the amazing tier. I forget this character's name. I think I've seen him though. I don't think he transforms though, so he's alright. And just because they are alright does not mean that they are a bad character. We have some people here like Vegeta, who again, not bad. It's just he can't transform, so he doesn't really have something to work towards during the match, unlike some other characters here, like Frieza, who can turn golden, and then they just become better characters. Don't know who this guy is. This is Baby Vegeta. So because he can transform, and yeah, let's start with the base as always. We're gonna put him in good, followed by Baby Vegeta, and then I would actually argue that these two characters are in the amazing tier, including the giant ape. Not just the fact that he's a transformation, but I did see some gameplay of them where he had some really strong supers that were actually able to connect on the opponent, and that's usually the problem with with the giant tier characters, is that their moves whiff, and his supers seem to land pretty often, so that's why I rank him here, because he gets that trade-off while also not having some moves work on him, so he kind of mitigates his problem there. Omega Shenron, he seemed insane when I was watching him, and I would honestly say he's a sparking character as well. Now I say that because the gameplay I watched of him, not only was he doing a lot of damage, but I believe he like shot out a ray that looked pretty hard to block and react to. And the fact that he did a lot of damage while having, again, that same speed tier, like pretty good speed like all these characters have, that's why I'm making that argument. Oh, this is his transform tier? Yeah, his transform tier was the one. I'm gonna put him in amazing then. I think this is Popovich. He's a Majin, but again, no transform. Beerus and Whis, immediately sparking characters. The fact that they cost 10 points should be indicative of how strong they are already. And Whis, in my opinion, I think he's the best character in the game right now. Like I mentioned, the ability to auto dodge is just very, 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 very strong against a lot of the characters who kind of rely on their speed. Like Whis here alone can probably give a lot of the sparking tier characters trouble because of his ability to auto dodge and the fact that they have a lot of high attacking speed. If he is just dodging them for free, I mean, what are you really supposed to do against that? Oh, and Goku Black. I actually saw a pretty good amount of gameplay for him. His ultimate, wait, let's first put his base here. I would actually say his base, because I think he costs 5. I'm pretty sure he costs 5. And for costing 5, if not 5, 6, and being able to transform into Rose, and I did see Rose have really good attacking speed, and his ultimate as well, it did a lot of damage because it combines the blast from him and Zamasu. And I was just looking at the damage of that, and I was like, oh shoot, like he's kind of insane. And Zamasu's another very insane character that I saw. I'm gonna put him at good, but this Zamasu's attacking speed and his supers, he's at the top of amazing in my opinion. And this Zamasu in particular is a sparking character. His attack speed actually looks like he's like canceling his animations is what it looks like. He's attacking that fast, and he does so much damage. With hit, I'm gonna say he's amazing. His supers do look very strong, and again, he attacks pretty fast as well. Not as fast as these characters in my opinion, but his speed tier alone, even though he doesn't transform, like, I feel like he's an amazing character just off of that. This is this version's Frieza. I don't believe he transforms. I think his name is Chills or something like that. So I'm just gonna put him in the alright tier. And now, even though he can't transform, I will say he's still alright because of the fact that his supers did seem pretty good. I'd say my definition for a pretty good super, usually the ones that have been good in my experience have been the projectile ones, because of the fact that one, they can beam struggle, and two, you're shooting them, so you're kind of at less of a disadvantage if you miss. Kaba, because he's a transformation character, I will rank him in the amazing tier, because again, having access to a mode that you can transform into, in my opinion, will put you already as like a pretty good character. He's also going to go in the amazing tier for that reason. In this game, when you transform, you actually get stronger. Your attacks do more damage, and I believe at times you gain more defense as well, I believe. But if not, you definitely get the attack buff. That's why a lot of these characters are here, just because they transform and get stronger, literally. Kefla, she makes a pretty good argument for being. So Kale, she's pretty good because, again, a base character who can transform. Same as her super, alongside her. Caulifla, same argument here. When she turns Super Saiyan, turns into an amazing character. And I would actually argue that her legendary Super Saiyan form is not on the same tier as Broly. I feel like Dragon Ball Z Broly and Super Broly is a better Broly version than Caulifla. What I've seen, I believe they all have more base health compared to her. And the base health definitely makes a difference. This is the base fusion. And like most fusion characters, I would say that they already start off as amazing, which then leads me to her Super Saiyan form. I would still argue is amazing. And her Super Saiyan, I believe this is her legendary Super Saiyan fusion. I would say this is another sparking character. Her supers all look very, very solid, and her ultimate does a lot of damage. Yes, she is a fusion, so it kind of makes sense, but after working your way up through the fusion power-ups to reach fusion in the first place, and then reach Super Saiyan 1, and then the legendary form, her supers did seem very good, in my opinion. Again, day one tier list, don't crash out on me. As for Jiren base, he does a lot of damage. He's a power type character, which is exactly why his transform state, when you add all the good that Jiren already has, I feel like he's in that sparking tier. Same difference with Toppo. So I'm mainly just ranking it off of the speed of their attacks, how strong their attacks are, how good their supers are, and how good their ultimates are, and if they do a lot of damage. Which is also why I would say Dispo, I actually feel like he's gonna be a sleeper pick, and he, in my opinion, is amazing because he goes so fast, and I feel like that speed is going to be very useful to just take people by surprise. Bergamo, I have not seen much gameplay of him, but I know he can transform into his large state, so I'm going to say he's good for that reason, that he has a transformation. I don't like this girl personally. I don't know what she can do. Quite frankly, I actually don't care because of how much I don't like her as a character. And she looks kind of useless and worthless in my opinion, so I'm going to put her in the alrights here. This character is a speedster. I did read up on her. I'm going to put her in the good tier just because of that. I haven't seen gameplay, so I can't say for sure, but her being a speedster, speed seems to be a really good factor in this game. Like, her base movement speed is extremely fast on top of her attack speed. And finally, I don't know who this person is. I haven't seen gameplay of them either, so the alrights here. But finally, Analyza, if that's how you pronounce it. I don't know if it's like Analyza or like Annalisa. I've never seen this character before, but from what I've seen his supers, he has a super where it rains Ki Blast like down on the opponent. And because it's a large like area of effect, you're pretty much going to get chip damage whenever he uses that. And because of like the arguments I've used before of how certain moves don't work on large characters, he also belongs in the amazing tier. And with that, we have ranked 186 Sparking Zero characters. And let me know what other types of content you want to see on Sparking Zero. Take care, subscribe, love and light.